We ready to go, Jim? Okay, welcome to the March 3rd, 2021 meeting of the Municipal Building Commission. I see that we are missing a few people, but as always, the first order of business is for Jeremy to call the roll.
All right. Harry. Ed.
Ed, you're here?
Here. Jackie.
Yes.
Gail.
Here.
Jerry. Mike. Andrew.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
And Jack.
Here.
It's a quorum.
So we have 6, so we have a quorum. And there was one slight change in plans in that Mark Furtado wanted to speak to us at the middle school roofs. Is Mark with us? Ah, there he is.
He's coming.
Oh,
You're on mute, Mark.
Hi, Jack.
Hi. Before we approve the minutes, if you're ready to go, Mark, we thought we'd take care of you.
Oh, appreciate that. Just wanted to make the committee aware, we've had some very small, but still nevertheless, some leaks in both Brennan and Wamsutter recently. We had an indication from Russo Bar that they were interested in doing some follow-up studies in the building and had talked to the city about undergoing another project to, I'm not sure yet. They were supposed to give a presentation. They haven't given the presentation, so I'm not sure exactly what they're thinking, but they are apparently aware of and have some concerns about some things that they saw during the project that could lead to continued problems. So we're sort of, again, on a very small scale experiencing those things. And so I had contacted Jeremy and asked about following up with Russo Bar and hearing what they have to say.
Yeah, obviously, no leak, no matter how small, is good, and anything more than 0 is not acceptable. So,
Yeah.
Jeremy, do we have some money left in the budget?
Yes, we do. We're allocating some of that to the gym floor repairs that we're going to do next, but we still have, enough money to definitely address these small scale sorts of things. So after I was talking with Mark, I'm not quite sure of the Russo Bar scope or what they're presenting as well, but we wanted to bring it to committee, see what you all thought. We can go back to Russo Bar and have them do a add-on study, a follow-up study, like Mark said. One, to determine what it is, and then to determine if it was part of the project or if it's outside of that scope, and to see what our next steps are. So I was looking for the committee to endorse that.
Okay, so my first question is, would we have to amend our contract with Russo Bar?
It would be a new contract.
It would be a new contract. Would that be subject to 30B and procurement, or would we be able to amend rather than having a new contract?
That's a question for purchasing, which I will follow up on.
Okay. And then secondly, Mark, I'm sure you don't want to wait another month to start this process, right?
The sooner the better, Jack. As you know, water is a funny thing, and can cause a lot of damage without a lot of notice.
So I'm going to suggest that, Jeremy, you follow up with Russo Bar and with purchasing, and let's see, perhaps we have to have a special meeting of the building commission at 5:30 next week in front of the school building committee meeting, just to take a couple of minutes to take care of this.
Sure.
Or if we start 15 minutes earlier, like at 5:15, whatever works. I wouldn't ask the commission to do anything now, but I think we need to have some information in front of us so that we can act appropriately. Any other questions or comments from any of the commission members? I note that Terry has joined us. And someone's on the phone. Who would that be?
That'd be Jerry.
Oh, Jerry's on. Okay, so Jerry's joined us. So we have a full house except for Mike Tyler.
Computer
Okay.
problems.
Mark, we would expect that we will let you know about a special meeting that we will have maybe at 5:15, maybe at 5:30, probably next Wednesday. And we'll get Russo Bar on board to figure out what has to be done and how we as a commission can respond appropriately. Is that acceptable?
Terrific. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Unless there's anything else, then thank you, Mark, and we will move on to the minutes. Jackie, I understand there's an amendment that you need to make?
Yes, last meeting on February 3rd, we voted to approve the January 6th, 2021 minutes, not the December 2nd, 2020.
So is your motion to approve the minutes?
As amended. As amended.
And Terry, are you ready to second?
Yes, second, sorry. Having technical problems.
Okay. But you know, Jackie's my designated moving party and you're my designated seconder. So in any event, does anybody have any questions or comments on the minutes other than that? Hearing none, then Jeremy, a roll call?
Terry,
Yes,
Ed,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Kelly,
yes.
and Jack.
Yes. Passes unanimously. Okay, so we'll get to the main order of business for the evening, which is the library repair project. I see Evan Warner is with us, and Deb Robinson's with us, and Bob Barton is with us. Evan, is this your show?
I believe that it is. Good evening, everyone. So we continue to make good progress at the library with the requisition that is before you tonight for approval. Puts it at 29% complete, and the project is currently on schedule. I have some progress photos that I'd like to share with you if I could.
Please do.
I'm sorry, Jack.
I said, please do.
Okay, excellent.
Speaking through a mask is not my strong point.
I'll try to listen better as well. So we've got a lot of work that's gone on the fourth floor, as well as some of the rooftop work as well, prepping for our slate roof. The membrane roofs are largely done at this point, with the exception of some detailing. So we've got some photos of the fourth floor. This is a staff area there. We can see some new HVAC piping, opened up ceilings, and some of these pieces that are mostly lights. Also, the fourth floor has these terminal units for the VRF system populated throughout that fourth floor, as well as the associated piping that's running from the main distribution unit through those individual terminal units. We also performed some work that we had talked about at the last meeting, which was addressing some voids in the spray fireproofing above the ceilings on that underside of the roof deck and beams there. So that work has been performed and is currently complete. It's unclear whether we will have similar conditions on lower floors. We do not think so at this point. But but we'll continue to keep you folks updated on that. Again, in this picture, you can see some of this new small piping that's been installed there as well. We've also opened up some chases. This is in the rear stairwell to gain access and be able to feed our piping from up above down to the lower floors and whatnot there. Then we're moving up onto the roof. You can see this is the front of the library up top at the main decorative cornice here. So all of this somewhat internal gutter system has been removed and replaced, and you'll see some new outlets here, as well as some prep on the deck under the slate. And we were supposed to actually have slate start today, but it looks like that may not start till tomorrow or Friday. Again, another area of this kind of internal gutter system. This is where the water from the slate comes down onto this internal gutter and then goes to these outlet pieces there. So they've done a good job prepping for all of that at this point. We did have a couple of areas that were a little bit questionable in terms of whether we thought the water, whether we were going to need to give some help to get the water to drain to these existing outlet locations. And that has been installed for at least a couple of weeks. And from some of the rainstorms, we have good positive drainage in this gutter system along the front and the side. So that is all good there. Additionally, and I'll get to this on the change log, the electrician has been on site to start to work on the HVAC and some of the lighting issues, and have identified an issue with some of the existing surface mounted lights, largely on the second and third floors, that are getting replaced. And when they've removed and opened these up, we have a condition that has been identified as questionable and potentially not to code. So we have kind of an RFI and some questions into the electrical engineer. So we have a potential cost that may be associated with making these oversized holes. This is what was probably originally in the 1993 edition as a downlight that had been changed out and upgraded to these surface fixtures. And so we have an oversized hole and do not have a permanent back box as we might expect for what was intended to be a change out of these existing light fixtures. So I have a rough order of magnitude number on the change log to address, to at least have a placeholder for what may be some additional unforeseen work here at the library. Any questions on work progress so far?
Yeah, well, any update on the balconies that were removed and taken to Providence to work on?
Yep, so they have, they've finished stripping all of the metalwork that was removed and are in the process of finalizing their assessment and coming up with a work scope against the scope that we owned. We expect that that to be in a document form that we all can review in the next week or so. And so there's a bunch of work that we owned, including some recasting, some elements, and we have some other work that we know needs to get done there. So we don't know whether that's an add, a wash, or a credit at this point. I would expect that there's some cost involved in trying to get those any pieces back in shape and ready for refinishing and reinstallation on the building, and fully expect that we will have something to present at next month's building commission meeting.
And what about the $400,000 worth of windows that we approved last time?
Yep, so we have a formal change order. If you recall, last month, you folks voted on a not to exceed change number for 3 change items, the biggest being just shy of 400,000 for these replacement windows. The contractor has taken our approval and is moving forward with measuring, as well as putting together some shop drawings that are in process, and they are scheduled to come out and do some measurement verification, as well as removal of at least one typical window so that we can understand the existing conditions better behind what we can't see, and make any adjustments that are needed before those dimensions are finalized and that those units go into fabrication. So our hope is that by the end of this month and or early next month, that we will have shop drawings submitted, reviewed, and approved in order to be able to order these windows and have a good chance of installing them late spring and early summer. And the intent is still to try to get those done before our substantial completion date of July 31st.
And Evan, are we on time with the project?
We are. We just got in each month with the requisitions, we get an updated schedule that shows the same end or completion date. There has been a little bit of a push on the the fourth floor work that they will need to be wrapping that up while they move down to the third and second floors into the next phase of the mechanical work in those areas. So nothing of concern. We're currently on schedule, and the contractor has a few days of acceleration that they need to do to make up some time and stay within the phasing timeframes.
Okay. Bob Barton, do you have anything to add to what Evan said?
Oh, I just got to unmute myself. I was able to get up on the roof, I guess it was last Wednesday, Evan, and
Right.
walk the site and see the fourth floor work. So I think we're in great shape, as Evan's pointed out, so far on the project, knock on wood.
Good. And Deb Robinson, do you have anything to add to the update?
No, it seems to be going well.
The picture we're looking at, does that look like a code violation?
It apparently is, and I'm waiting for the electrical engineer to sort of confirm. I think there's some, it's the photo on the top where apparently you see the wires just aren't connected in a way that meets code. So we don't want to change the light fixture that we spent time selecting for that and is already on site. So it's just a matter of what other back box or electrical connection needs to be provided to make this code compliant. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal. As you said, if somebody who was liable for doing it incorrectly can be held accountable, fine. But we're just proceeding with what needs to be done to make this current installation acceptable.
Okay, I think Amy had another meeting and isn't with us. Is Charlie Oliver with us tonight? I guess not.
No, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Charlie, do you have any idea as to when that electrical work was done?
No, I do not. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, no, I do not.
Okay, I guess we'll ask Jeremy to follow up with Amy to
Yep.
see how long ago that work was done, because, if it was done more than 3 years ago, the likelihood is we will have a hard time collecting. If it was done more than 6 years ago, we have no chance of collecting. So those are the various statutes of limitation and statutes of repose that might apply. So whether we have a claim or not would certainly be a question. So then we'll throw it open to the commission members. Do you have any questions on the update of Evan, Bob, or Deb? Deafening silence says you don't.
Okay. So with that, I'll move to the change log. Let me see.
Okay.
So the log's a little different than you saw last time. I pulled out change order number 1, which includes change request 2 and change request 3. 3 is the big one for the window replacement, and 2 are the miscellaneous phone lines and data runs for the 4th floor and 2nd floor staff areas interim with that. So we have a formal change order before you tonight in the amount of $403,587.01. In addition to that, the running log of potential changes, we have one highlighted here, which are the fan coil units. These we had slotted as ceiling mounted units that were not going to be able to work in those spaces. So we've got some floor units. We, excuse me, had previously been carrying kind of a hold number for pricing on that. And we believe that this is currently a no cost change, that we have allowances that any patching that we may need to do. So that has been reduced to 0 from the last time you saw that. And then
That's real good news.
and then we have 2 new items here. One is the existing light fixture wiring, which we just reviewed through those photos. I currently have kind of a hold number of 15,000 there. We have a number of different options depending on what our electrical engineer comes back with. There may be some fixture, change in fixture that may require some restocking of the existing fixture, some patching and rewiring with that. So I've gotten together with the contractor. We think that that's probably a reasonable rough order of magnitude number. Additionally, I believe it might be 2, not last weekend, but the weekend before, there was some kind of short at an outlet that the fire department responded to. They came and took a look at things, and things are currently okay, but we're having the contractor have their electrician take a look at that location, and as a minimum change out the the outlet, duplex outlet that appears to be faulty. And again, I've got a rough order of magnitude number of $1,000 for that. So with these modifications, these 2 adds and this reduction, potential changes outside of the change order is about $251,000. And
The bulk of that is for the handicap accessibility upgrades, correct?
correct, that we've been carrying that $200,000 rough order of magnitude since literally since the project had started. So with that, looking at our where we stand contingency wise, if all of those changes were realized, which is unlikely, we would have $654,000 of probable changes and remaining construction contingency of just under $1.2 million. So we remain in good shape construction contingency wise, even with our large change order number one and rough order of magnitude for these other change items. Additionally, new from last month's change log is a listing of some soft cost changes. So we have, in addition to the construction change order one, we have three other items. One would be an amendment to STV's OPM services to add commissioning agent services for the construction and installation portion of the project. And I can go through that on the budget in a minute, but we reached out to 5 different commissioning agents. We got responses from 2 of them, and the most advantageous was WSP. So with the coordination and administration portion of STV's work, that total is $43,153 proposed change to our contract. And then we have 2 items under one change to the BH&A contract. One is for Amendment 4 for accessibility and variance upgrades of $28,480. And then Amendment number 5 for increased scope associated with the window replacement upgrades of $25,000 there. So current soft cost changes for approval tonight total just over $96,000 here. And I'll show you in a minute on the budget. We had a separate line item for testing and commissioning services in the budget. So that has been reduced and transferred to the contingency, whereas the soft cost contingency would take out the this total 96 number. So we would have suggest a remaining soft cost contingency of just over $55,000. Any questions regarding the hard or soft cost changes?
Yeah, the first thing is that we're aware that there would be a cost associated for BH&A with the accessibility designs. We couldn't do those things at the time of the bidding. We had to defer that. So I understand that. Any commission members have any questions on that particular item? Again, hearing none. So then the thing that concerns me, Evan, is $25,000 to specify the window replacement and perhaps oversee the installation. That seems like a fairly large number. Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, so that ends up being about, I think, 5% of the total cost of that window replacement, and it's not as perhaps as simple as we might think. There are varying conditions throughout that 1993 building that requires further investigations, coordination, and the submittals alone for that entire package, as opposed to one or two window replacement locations is really significant. This 25,000 also includes a number for an envelope consultant if, when we remove that test window that we're seeing, we need some assistance in figuring out some flashing details and proper ways to ensure that we have a solid installation once we're all done. Deborah, do you have any further comments relative to that?
You did? No. No, I mean, it's, you know, significantly more work than just, I think we had the one window we had in the base scope, and there are some unique conditions that will take, I think, some working out of designs and just time, then going back and as this is in construction, looking at it and make sure things are being done right.
Yeah, one of the things that we're actually doing is there are some replacement windows at the lower level of the original building that were replaced in '93, and some of the historical detail, some vertical mullions were removed at that time for that installation. So this also includes taking a look at recreating that detail and adjusting those windows accordingly so that the original portion of the building is much closer to matching how it was on during ribbon cutting way back when.
So is this a flat fee or is this some sort of time and materials?
I believe this is a kind of a not to exceed number that the H&A will bill against.
Okay, understood. And then with the commissioning, Jeremy and I have spent a lot of time looking at this, but the rest of our building commission has not. So could you please give an explanation of the commissioning services and what we're getting for $43,000?
Right. So typically commissioning would, we would get an agent on board during the design phase, and they would be reviewing specs and informing some of that as we were on a fairly tight budget early on, that once we got good bids on the scope of work that was done here, Jack, you had brought up this might be an opportunity to engage a commissioning agent, which basically is to ensure that that the systems that are being installed are done so according to plans and specs and are functioning the way that they're intended. So what this number includes is reviewing approved submittals for HVAC systems that we have in the building, visiting the site to review the installation, in addition to the engineer of record, to put together a commissioning plan, pre-functional checklists that the contractor will be required to address prior to completion, and then doing the actual functional testing once the systems are in place, reviewing the controls, and also reviewing any warranties, as well as training and whatnot. And again, to make sure that when we walk away from this project, that the HVAC system is functioning as it should.
Just a comment, the two hardest things in our experience to get right in a building are the roof and the HVAC. Exactly. And so I think that we would be well advised to have another set of eyes looking at this and giving us the assurance that the HVAC system is correct. Of course, we have the historical issue that the system we installed in 1993 was obsolete the day it was installed. And that's part of the reason we're replacing it now. And so I feel more comfortable knowing that we have another set of professional eyes looking at this. And I don't mean that to denigrate BH&A or STV. I just think that it's a wise idea to have another set of eyes looking at it. So any questions from the commission on the commissioning? I hear nothing. So Evan, we need to vote then on track change order number 1, BH&A amendment 4 and 5, and your change order 1 for STV. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And BH&A, that it would be change order number 2 on their current purchase order.
Which will encompass amendments 4 and 5.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Commission members, do we want to take 3 votes or do we want to take 1 vote?
1.
I heard
Yeah.
1. Yeah. Okay, so Jackie, a motion is in order to approve track change order number 1, STV change order number 1, and BH&A change order number 2, consisting of amendments 4 and 5.
That was so moved.
Second.
Thank you, Terry. Is there any discussion? Jeremy?
Terry,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
and Jack.
Yes, that passes unanimously. So before we get to paying the bills, is there anything else that, Evan, you want to share with us?
Sure, just quickly, let me share my screen one more time and show you how we're going to pay for,
Oh, that's always a good thing.
yeah. So this is the budget. We've got kind of past budget updates to the right. Let me see if I can't. One more. Okay. And then current updated budget. So all of these items here are unchanged. This is the commissioning subconsultant change here. Adjustment number 1. Accessibility and window replacement 2 and 3. Change order number 4. And what these numbers actually mean is that we are paying for our construction cost change order number 1 out of the construction contingency. So this has been adjusted to accommodate that slightly over $400,000. The soft cost contingency has been adjusted in 2 ways. It's moved money up to items 1 through 3, which are the fee increases for OPM and architect, and then also transferred $50,000 from this testing services and commissioning that was previously $85,000, now becomes $35,000, and that moves up to the soft cost contingency. So we still have a robust construction contingency, soft cost contingency, and plenty of money in the testing services line item for any window testing now that we're having new windows done that we will do. And these are all iterated here where we're specifically transferring this amount from soft cost contingency to the OPM for that amendment, the other amounts for BH&A and the construction change orders and that transfer from testing and construction services to soft cost contingency. So basically what this budget shows is that we continue to be in good, solid financial shape on this project at about 30% complete.
And we have not changed the bottom line of 6.9, correct?
So we are remaining at 6.5 as our total project budget. When we started way back in feasibility,
Oh, okay, yep.
project was 6.9. And you can see the progression. It was slightly adjusted at DD based on those good estimates.
Oh, okay, I understand now. So 6.5 is our
6.5
revised number.
Is
and
our
we're still at-
revised, correct.
Okay,
And I think it's important to remember that within that 6.5 also included are the windows, the accessibility upgrades, and the elevator upgrades, which weren't considered initially. So we're within budget and have added scope within it.
and still have a healthy contingency.
We do.
Okay, I understand the numbers. Commission members, questions? You've been a silent group tonight. So therefore, anything else that you want to talk to us about before we get to the bills?
No, I think that's it for me.
And Bob, anything else you want to add?
Nope, sir. Nope, sir. It's, the budget looks fantastic. Wish all projects looked this well, so.
Okay, Deb, anything you want to add?
I'm good.
Okay, I see Amy has joined us. Amy, have you seen a portion of the meeting or?
Just a small portion. Thank you.
Anything you want to add to the commission's meeting tonight?
Nope, just grateful for the team.
Okay, and Charlie, anything you want to add?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. Good, then we have a bill for the library for STV for $9,646.50. Jeremy, are you recommending that?
Yes.
And we have a bill for the library for Track Builders application 4/368/097/45. Evan and Deb, you're recommending that?
We are.
Yes.
And we have the BHNA 7,473.37. Evan, you're recommending that?
I do.
And then the unrelated bill for the Attleboro Pawtucket Water Interconnect for CDM Smith, which is 6650.81. And Jeremy, you're satisfied with that?
Yes, and so is Water Superintendent Courtney Wunschel.
Excellent. So Jackie, is there a motion to approve those 4 bills?
Move to approve those 4 bills.
Second,
Thank you, Terry. Any questions or comments? Then, oh, I didn't hear anything. So Jeremy?
All right, on the bills, Terry,
yes.
Ed. Yes. Jackie,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
and Jack.
Yes, that passes unanimously. So thank you to everyone who's here for the library. You're free to stay because it's a public meeting, but you don't have to. Jeremy's going to next talk to us about fire department roofs and gym floors.
Yeah, hi everyone. So last month I told you we were going to use our experience with the fire department roofs designer selection to inform our gym floors designer selection, which is what we're still doing. These projects don't rise to the level of necessitating an OPM or designer, but we want to bring a design firm on board, do the job correctly, rather than writing the scope ourselves. So where we're at right now and the progress from the last meeting is we're in the process of executing a contract with a construction consultant firm that will help us write our RFP for the designer. So we'll work with them over the next month. Now we have them under contract to be able to write our RFP for the design firm. And then hopefully, a month or so out, have the design firm on board and get this project started over the summer. So we're on track for that. And then the gym floors will follow slightly behind that. If you remember, Municipal Council has amended the loan authorization for the Brennan and Wamsutta roof projects. So we used that savings, and we're going to transfer that to a new fund to do the gym floors, so no additional borrowing required. It's within a prior loan authorization. So they're progressing slightly behind schedule as to what I had wanted, but still moving forward.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay. Then for the Attleboro Pawtucket Water Interconnect, CDM Smith has been dreadfully slow. And they have promised that as of tomorrow, they will resubmit to the site plan review process the finalized plans. And hopefully they will keep to their schedule. They've just delayed us by a couple of months with their slowness, and I have no problem with saying that in public. Not very happy with their performance. So I think we will hopefully in the next few weeks get this through the planning board site plan review process. It's a minor site plan review, so it doesn't require a public hearing, just a public meeting. And Gary Arasian will be coordinating that for us. And hopefully we'll get that done so that we can then have the project ready to go out to bid, which we thought it would have been a month ago, and obviously will be a while now until that happens. So that's the update on that. Before we take a motion to adjourn, I'm going to say mark your calendars for next Wednesday at 5:15, and let's see if we can get things moving with the further investigation at Brennan and Wamsutta to solve those problems. The school building committee will be meeting then at 5:30. You're all members of that. Our next meeting after that will be April 7th. School building committee will be April 14th. And then on May 12th, we're going to have a nice double header. We are going to have a site visit at 3:30 over at the high school. And then after that, we can all repair to our various computers to hold our virtual school building committee meeting on that date. Jeremy has sent out an invitation, and make sure you respond so he knows how many people to expect will be at that meeting. So anybody have any questions on the schedule?
Busy.
And then anybody have any other business they wish to bring forth? Jerry, did you have something?
No, more shot. Thank you.
Okay, then I think a motion would be in order to adjourn at 6:18.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Thank you. Jeremy?
Carrie,
yes.
Ed? Yes. Jackie?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
And Jack.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next week.
Thank you.